Hi, everybody. I'm John Kiriakou, and welcome back to Deep Focus. This is just going to be a short little clip because I felt it was important to discuss, at least in surface terms, this latest revelation from the Justice Department on the Jeffrey Epstein case. First of all, FBI Director Kash Patel and FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino have concluded in no uncertain terms that Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide. I have always maintained that Jeffrey Epstein committed suicide, and that's because of my own experience in the Federal Bureau of Prisons. First of all, the BOP is a repository for the biggest boobs in public service. You have to understand how stupid these people are, how incompetent they are. Oh, people say the cameras weren't working. Well, newsflash, the cameras never work in prisons. Anybody who's ever been in prison will tell you that. Number two, oh, the guards were asleep. Yeah, at any given time of the day or night, you go past the guard booth in prison, the guards are asleep, or they're playing solitaire, or they're surfing the internet. Number three, they put Epstein in with somebody that was supposed to protect him or watch that he didn't commit suicide, and they put him in with a killer. Yeah, because like I said, they're incompetent boobs. So Dr. Baden's conclusion aside that it was more likely a homicide, the video shows literally nothing. The final conclusion is that it was a suicide. Okay, I agree with that. What I disagree with is this notion that there are no files, that there is no dossier, that there is no black book of clients. I don't believe that for a second. You know, we've said a million times, the deep state is real. The deep state exists. You don't have to call it the deep state. You can call it the federal bureaucracy. You can call it the state. The fact of the matter is, presidents come and go. FBI directors and deputy directors and attorneys general come and go. But those civil servants who actually make the trains run on time are there forever. It's not unusual for people to have 30, 35, even 40-year careers in public service. That's what the deep state is. Now, yesterday on Fox News, I compared this announcement from the Justice Department with a similar announcement in 1975 from the Church Committee, which became the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence. The Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, under the chairmanship of Senator Frank Church, then a Democrat from Idaho, ordered the CIA to produce all documents related to a very ugly program called MK Ultra. The director of the CIA then went back to CIA headquarters and ordered that all the documents be destroyed. That's illegal, but good luck proving it. And so what we know now about MK Ultra is what we have learned from the 20% of the documents that survived that illegal order. I would bet money on the notion that the same thing has happened with the Jeffrey Epstein documents. And I'm not saying that Kash Patel and Dan Bongino knew anything about it. But I think that there are very powerful forces at work in that sub-level of leadership at some place like the FBI or the Department of Justice that wanted to ensure that this thing doesn't get any bigger than it already has. And if there are no documents to prove any malfeasance on the part of any important person, then eventually the thing's going to go away. One other point. They want us to believe that the only people involved in a major pedophilic sex trafficking scandal were Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. I have to call bullshit on that. You can't run an international pedophile sex trafficking ring with two people from the A-list of society. What about all of the so-called security people that Epstein had, who were monitoring the big banks of monitors to watch the hidden cameras in every one of those bedrooms? And every one of the bathrooms, too, by the way. What about those people? Why have charges never been filed against Prince Andrew? Right? He should be charged with crimes against children. What about any of the other people who had sex with minors at Jeffrey Epstein's island? Virginia Giuffre was very, very clear about what happened to her, as were 5 or 6 other young women. So where are the prosecutions? As I said, I think the fix is in. I hate to say, but knowing how government works, I think this thing is done. We're not going to get any more information. What we've gotten is going to be the extent of it. And I think that both Democrats and Republicans are hoping right now that this thing just goes away. Do me a favor and hit the like and subscribe button. I can't tell you how much that helps me. It means so much to me to be able to build up a following, and we can keep these things going that way. So thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time on Deep Focus. Bye-bye.